And we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we are going to talk about Mike Tannenbaum's trade proposal for the Vikings and the Cardinals. So, it has to do with the NFL draft. So, what this trade entails is, so he projects that the Vikings, now the Vikings already, made a trade with the Texans to move up, but the Vikings will trade the number 11th pick to the Arizona Cardinals for Kyler Murray and the 66th pick in the 2024 draft, this year's draft. Tannenbaum's scenario has the Cardinals using the 4th pick to take Michigan's quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, as Kyler Murray's successor. So this is what he said. He said, so here's my proposition to clear some cap space for the Cards. Officially start the McCarthy era in Arizona and fix the Vikings quarterback issue. In my mind, the number 11 overall pick for Murray straight up is too rich, and the number 23, Minnesota's other first rounder, on its own is not enough. So I'm attaching that third rounder to the number 11th pick to level this out. It's similar to what the Cardinals did during the 2022 draft when they traded their first round pick, the 23rd overall pick at the time, to Baltimore for receiver Marquise Brown and a third rounder. So that's his reasoning behind that. Now, here's the reasons why this would not really work out. So, the Vikings would inherit a significant portion of Kyler Murray's cap hit, which could potentially disrupt their financial flexibility. And that would create a problem because they are trying to pay Justin Jefferson, who is the best wide receiver in the NFL. So if you take on that cap hit of Kyler Murray, that hurts the Vikings from a financial standpoint to be able to give Justin Jefferson that massive contract that he desires. Now, the Vikings' reported desire to reset the quarterback clock indicates a preference for a younger, potentially cheaper option at the position rather than taking on the substantial financial commitment with Kyler Murray's contract. From the Cardinals' standpoint, there doesn't seem to be a compelling reason to part ways with Kyler Murray at this point. Murray has shown promise and potential, and the team still has a lot of cap space to accommodate his contract. Now, yeah, because here's the thing. So like I said, the Vikings, they want to pay Justin Jefferson. They want a quarterback on a cheap deal. The Cardinals, they have been adamant this offseason about Kyler Murray, saying he's our franchise quarterback. The Cardinals' social media account even posted our franchise quarterback with a picture of Kyler Murray. He's the guy. Now, again, could be all misdirection and this ends up happening. It's not going to happen. The Vikings want to reset the clock. They want they want a quarterback on a cheap deal so they could pay Justin Jefferson. And now, if this did end up happening and Kyler Murray went to the Vikings, that would be a good fit because you have Justin Jefferson, you have Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, you signed Aaron Jones. And Kyler Murray, when he's healthy, I mean, look at he played decent, I would say, when he came back from injury for the Cardinals. And he played with DeAndre Hopkins for a couple of years, and they played really well together. They worked really well together. Now you bring him in. This is the best supporting cast he'd be surrounded by. So, yeah, that would be nice for Kyler, but again, from a financial standpoint, that would not help the Vikings out. And listen, when it comes to trade proposals and mock drafts and things like that, it's hard. It's hard because it just, you could say you could come out and say some outlandish things. And yeah, this is a kind of outlandish, this trade proposal, just because, yeah, I mean, I just don't see it happening. Again, be nice for Kyler because you got all this talent that you'd be surrounded by, and I like the Vikings roster a lot, and I think with the right quarterback, this team could, be a playoff team, can be dangerous, but right now they got Sam Darnold. And again, we'll see what they end up doing in the draft. I know, you got quarterbacks that are trending up and trending down. It's just, J.J. McCarthy, it's possible he could end up in Washington. I heard, it was possible that Drake May, his stock could be falling and he could fall to another team. Cardinals, they're open to trading their pick. Now, they probably are going to go wide receiver. Unless they trade down, because, if you stay where you are, you're going to get whatever receiver you want. Because the first 3 picks are going to be all quarterbacks. The Patriots, the Commanders, and the Bears, all taking quarterbacks. Unless, again, someone trades up with them. And, again, if you're trading up to get one of those 3 picks, you're trying to get a quarterback. So right now, the Cardinals, they'd break that trend where they would take a non-quarterback. And it's probably going to end up being Marvin Harrison Jr. So, but they, like I said, they have been listening to offers for that pick. But yeah, this is not going to happen. The Cardinals are not doing this. The Vikings, they're not doing it because, again, they want a quarterback on a cheap deal so they could pay Justin Jefferson, which I think they should prioritize that. Pay Justin Jefferson. Make sure that he is going to be here be in Minnesota for the long term, and then move on to the quarterback. Because again, you have a great supporting cast. Now you just got to figure out the quarterback position. Which again, easier said than done because they could also whiff on whatever quarterback they take. But I think whatever quarterback that they end up getting, you're putting them in a great position to succeed. Because of the supporting cast that I just mentioned. And I think Kevin O'Connell is a decent head coach. And the Vikings also have a defense that was improving in 2023. So, like I said, they got a good roster. Now you just got to find your franchise quarterback. And again, there's going to be some growing pains, but I think with Kevin O'Connell, an offensive guy, with the supporting cast that they would be surrounded by, I think the Vikings will be okay. But again, you gotta make sure that you draft the right guy. It's unfortunate that Kirk Cousins didn't stick around, but he got $100 million guaranteed from the Falcons. So that's not that wasn't he got paid. He got paid. Unfortunately for the Vikings now, they got to go to another plan. Right now they got Sam Darnold. But they need to draft a quarterback. And that's probably what they're going to that is what they're going to end up doing. Now they could trade up again because again, they traded up with the Texans. Now they could potentially trade up again if they really see a guy that they like. But it's going to be interesting. It really is with how this draft goes. Because there are teams that need... like I said, the first 3 picks are probably all going to be quarterbacks. And like I said, J.J. McCarthy, he's been... his draft stock it seems like it's been increasing. And that it's possible he ends up going to Washington. So, again, that's not what... Again, I'm not an expert on all these quarterbacks. But that's at least what... one of the articles that came out that J.J. McCarthy is, trending up. So, I know there's a lot that J.J. McCarthy has, received some criticism. I know there's been a lot of comments about him being Zach Wilson 2.0 because everyone's like, oh, did you see his pro day? Well, yeah. And that's exactly what happened with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson had a great pro day, but then, we know what happened. Gets drafted to the Jets, and it just did not pan out. So, yeah, you could go out and you can have a great combine, a great pro day, but got to see what you're able to do on the field. So you could see him throw a pass for 50 yards, hit a receiver in stride in his pro day and be like, wow, that was great. He's going to be awesome. Well, let's see what he does when he actually takes the field for an NFL team. Until we see that, I don't know how any of these guys are going to be. Jaden Daniels, he's, Heisman Trophy winner. But how is he going to be when he gets to the NFL? How is Caleb Williams going to be? We have no idea until they step foot on a field and they start, playing against NFL defenses. So, but back to this though. I mean, the Cardinals, like I said, I've said this. I've done a segment on it. Kyler Murray's their guy. Jonathan Gannon, their head coach, has said it. Like I said, the social media team posted something saying our franchise quarterback with a picture of Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is their guy. They got to rebuild around. They got to build around him. Build this team back up. And I think with the healthy Kyler Murray, Cardinals are going to win some more games. And you saw that when he came back. They were competitive in a lot of their in pretty much all their games. I mean, they did lose to the Texans, but the 49ers, when they played against them, the 49ers kind of, won by a lot, but it was competitive in the beginning. But they did win in Philly, even though the Eagles were in a free fall. They did win his first game back against the Falcons. Again, the quarterback position for the Falcons was not great, but give Kyler Murray credit. Hadn't played in a long time. Came back. They were able to get a win there. They won in Philly, like I said. They played a competitive game against the Seahawks too. That was a close game that they lost, I believe. I thought Kyler played decent. Actually, what were his exact numbers? Let's take a look. Yeah, and listen, you get a full off season, and the Cardinals maybe try to draft some guys. I mean, like I said, they draft Marvin Harrison Jr. That's going to help Kyler a lot. Yeah, 10 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, a rating of 89.4. Well, I mean, it's like okay. About 1,800 yards passing. Touchdown to interception ratio is good for the amount of games he played in. Yeah, I mean, a full season of Kyler, Cardinals are going to be competitive, but like competitive like they'll be in games. But that doesn't mean that they're going to win a lot of games. So, and they were a scrappy team before Kyler came back. I mean, Josh Dobbs was playing well. I mean, they beat the Cowboys. Nobody really expected that. They beat the Eagles in Philly. It's kind of funny how the Cardinals beat both of those teams, but then they lost to the Commanders and they lost to the Giants. They actually should have beat the Giants. But that's a story for a different day. Yeah, so with this trade proposal, let me know what you guys think about it. Not going to happen. Again, if Kyler Murray did end up getting traded to the Vikings, I think that would be great for the Vikings. Take all the financials out of it. You put him in that situation with Justin Jefferson, Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. That's a great situation. This team could be a playoff team, but from a financial standpoint, yeah, it's not going to work out. Not going to work out. So, with that being said, we're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, we're going to talk about another quarterback. We're going to talk about Bryce Young and his path to redemption. We're going to talk about some of the things that Adam Thielen had to say regarding his Bryce Young's first season in the NFL. And that is what we will discuss when we come back from our final break. So, with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.